We've all run in a pair of running shoes that are either too big or too small for us. But how do you figure out the right way to find the perfect size running shoe for you? My name is Brad. I'm from CoachParry.com, and that's exactly what we are going to do today. I'm joined by our head coach, Lindsay Parry, and he's going to give you some practical tips and advice on how to make sure that you get into the right size running shoe for you. That's all coming up next. Lindsay, today we're talking running shoes and particularly making sure you're in the right size shoe. How do you know that the shoe that you're running in is the perfect fit for you? Often people say you need to be a size or two too big, or you want it to be slightly tighter. But in your opinion, what's the best way to go about making sure that you're in the right size shoe for you?
You want a shoe to allow some movement, but you don't want your foot to be sliding all over the place. So really the key aspects to a shoe are the width and then where your toes are relative to the front of the shoe. So you want to be able to feel the two sides of the shoe against your feet without having to really tighten the laces. If you really have to pull the laces tight, then you're going to cause other potential issues, because those laces are actually going to dig into the foot and to start compromising perhaps some of the tendons and ligaments around the bones on top of your feet. So you want to be able to feel the side of that, and then you don't want to be able to feel your toe pushing up against the front of the shoe. In fact, if you take your thumb while you're wearing the shoe, you want to be able to just about feel the top of the toe with the inside border of your thumb. So you're basically looking at about 2/3 of a thumb width that you want to get in there. Once the laces are tied, you also want to be able to fit your thumb into the back of the shoe. You don't want a gap, because if there's a gap, your foot's going to be sliding all over the place. But you want to be able to push it in there also without feeling like you're really ramming it in behind your heel. So it should be quite a snug fit, but you must be able to get it in. And if you follow those kind of three things, you are pretty likely to get a shoe that's close to the perfect fit.
Lindsay, often running shoes, once you're running them or over a period of time, they stretch a bit. Is there any way to prevent that? Obviously, when you're in a shoe store and you try them on and you do what you've just explained, what happens if the shoe does stretch a bit, particularly the upper, as you run over weeks and months?
Look, the shoe's definitely going to stretch a little bit, but that's really not going to be a massive problem. And the other thing that's going to happen is your foot is going to settle slightly into the shoe. But that is also what we want, because once that happens, that also does prevent that sliding back and forward, because you almost make your own footprint in the shoe. So there's definitely going to be some stretching, but what you don't want to do is allow for the stretching. So you don't want to get a shoe that you can feel your toe. You go, oh, it's only just touching the front of the shoe, and I can get my thumb in. It's really hard work to get my thumb in here, but I can get my thumb in here. So after I've been running for a couple of weeks, that's all going to be fine, and I'm going to be able to stick it in. No, the shoe is still going to then be too tight, because the little movement that you do get, particularly when you're running on undulating terrain, coming downhill, you're going to ram your toes into the front of the shoe, and your toenails are probably also going to catch on the canvas at the front top of the shoe. So that stretching is kind of taken into account with these rules of thumb that we use when we're putting shoes on and trying them on in the shop.
Fabulous. Lindsay, as always, thanks for your time. Much appreciated.
Absolute pleasure.
Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget, if you don't want to miss any of our upcoming videos, make sure you hit the subscribe button over here. You can also download a free strength training plan over here. That is if you want to shave minutes off your marathon time. Also, be sure to check out our most popular video over here, and our latest video is right over here.